College football is back in Manhattan, Kansas. K-State fans have sky-high expectations this year for their Wildcats as they kick off their season against a pesky South Dakota team. Welcome to the Big 12 now on ESPN Plus as the Kansas State Wildcats welcome the South Dakota Coyotes. Inside Bill Snyder Family Stadium, alongside a guy that played in this stadium when he was at North Texas, LaDarren McClain. I'm James Westling. Tori Petrie's on the sidelines. And LD, this K-State team, they've been touted as a dark horse Big 12 title contender.
Yeah, with the uncertainty, the unpredictability in the Big 12 and no clear-cut favorite, the optimism should be there. They've got 13 returning starters coming back on this team. And yes, the excitement is certainly felt here. I can feel it now for sure.
Well, South Dakota, they're no cupcake. They play an FBS school just about every year. In fact, go back to 2018, the last time these teams met, South Dakota led 24-12 in the fourth quarter. They also almost beat KU a season ago. New quarterback for K-State, Adrian Martinez. He is experienced, he is talented. What do you like about his skill set?
I'm excited to watch him. 38 career starts, 17 school records at Nebraska. He is one of two quarterbacks returning this season with 8,000 yards passing and 2,000 yards rushing. This is a premier college quarterback that can take the Wildcats offense to another level.
And it helps when you can hand the ball off to an All-American running back in Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, he's just simply phenomenal. Everything this kid can do, he can catch down in the backfield, he can receive. He's one of three players with 1,000 yards rushing and 400 yards receiving last year. He is unquestioned the home run hitter in this Wildcats offense.
They have certainly filled the bill here in the Little Apple, K-State and South Dakota. Kansas State will receive two All-American return men back deep for the Wildcats in Malik Knowles and Phillip Brooks. Kicking off for South Dakota, Eddie Ogamba had 3 kickoffs a season ago. He is new to the place kicking duties this year for the Coyotes. We are underway at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. And Malik Knowles will drop to a knee for the touchback. K-State's offense, new offensive coordinator in Colin Klein. As we go downstairs to Tori. Hey, Tori.
Guys, Coach Kleiman told us that one of the most impressive things about Martinez right now has been the relationship he's been creating with his offensive coordinator, Colin Klein, who, you know, just so happens to be a former K-State quarterback and the quarterback's coach here. I talked to Martinez this week, and he told me he's been trying to spend some extra time with Klein because Klein has been in his shoes. He's found success in the exact position that Martinez is in right now. James?
K-State scored a season-high 42 points, the one game that he called the plays last year in the bowl game. On first down, the Cats give it to Malik Knowles. Breakaway runner. Knowles down the sideline. One man to beat. Touchdown, K-State on their first play from scrimmage.
Well, I think that's how you start 2022. I will say that, James. Boy, talking about feeling the excitement of the fans, and this is blocked to perfection. You've got your All-American Deuce Vaughn out there, lead blocking, bang, right there. And that's all the space that Knowles needs. Again, you've got your All-American kick returner, giving him a ball in open space. He's got the ability to make things happen, and add him to the list of home run players in that backfield.
75-yard touchdown for Malik Knowles. Point after is true, and K-State leads 7-0.
I'm going to have to catch my breath. Oh, my goodness. It's all about the blocking up front, James. And they catch this defense kind of sleeping a little bit, and it's all about creating run angles. And once you see Deuce Vaughn get that block, he just saw a little bit of speed or space outside, and his speed can do the rest. That's a fantastic play call. You neutralize the quickness and the speed and the aggressiveness of this defense, and you add some fundamental blocking by the receivers, and you're going to have big home run plays like that.
Well, how about that for K-State's new offensive coordinator, Colin Klein? Called the plays against LSU in the bowl game. K-State scored 42 in that one, had 442 yards of total offense. And K-State getting creative on the very first play of the game.
Yeah, it's a different wrinkle, right? And everybody's thinking, oh, Adrian Martinez is going to drop back and throw it all over the yard. Well, wait a minute, we got Deuce Vaughn too. But you forget about some of the other skilled players, right? And Knowles is certainly one of them. I'm telling you, this offense has the weapons, and now it's all about them playing as a unit. And if they're off to a good start right now.
Chris Klieman is 7-2 all-time in home openers, dating back to his time at North Dakota State and here in Manhattan with the Kansas State Wildcats. Tyler Zentner handles the kickoffs for the Wildcats, and he boots it out of the back of the end zone for the touchback as we check in again with Tori.
South Dakota has the hardest schedule in the FCS this season, and actually their toughest matchup is tonight against K-State. Coach Nielsen told us they've got to be ready to play their best football this season from the very beginning. They are playing against the best personnel they'll see all year tonight, but this game is going to give them a good gauge of where they're at. They need good effort and great execution. James?
They had 3 top 20 wins a season ago against FCS foes and finished 18th in FCS. Empty set. Camp, the quarterback Carson Camp, trying to get his running back Travis Tice involved. As you look at the numbers on Carson Camp from a season ago, one of the most efficient passers in all of FCS.
Well, I like the fact that he's big and he's strong, and like you mentioned, an accurate arm. And, you know, only a sophomore, he's played a lot of football. And when you look at 3,200 yards passing and 20 touchdowns and 16 starts, that's pretty fantastic.
Checks it down to his tight end, Austin Gearing, close to the first down marker. That's a 9-yard gain. Echo Boydo made the tackle for the Wildcats from his cornerback position. 3rd and 1. South Dakota trying to avoid a 3-and-out on their opening drive. Tice up the gut, and he is sandwiched. He will be short of the line to gain. V.J. Payne, a freshman from Gainesville, Georgia, in on the action early for the Wildcats with the stop.
And they're trying to go with the inside power. And these offensive linemen, they got jammed up, but that was caused by the defensive pressure by the Wildcats. And it looked promising. They looked like they had a chance to maybe get a first down. And credit to this Wildcat defense to stall out the Coyotes offense on the first series.
Back deep to return for the Wildcats, Phillip Brooks, an All-American punt returner 2 seasons ago. And the punter is John Bickle for South Dakota. New punter as well for the Coyotes. Nearly blocked. Takes a South Dakota hop, rolling inside the 15-yard line. Wow. Inside the 10, still going. And this will be down to around the 5-yard line. K-State will be 95 yards from pay dirt. Cats lead 7-0 early on in this first quarter here in Manhattan. K-State football team Big 12 champs honored just moments ago. There's a look at the legend, Bill Snyder. The stadium dons his name here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium.
Yeah, that's just fantastic to see. Just like you mentioned, a living legend, right? And it must be fantastic to walk into your stadium that's got your name high above it all. That's got to be awesome to feel.
1st and 10, K-State, 95 yards from pay dirt. Their last drive, 1 play, 1 touchdown. 75-yard run on an end around to receiver Malik Knowles. Cade Warner in motion. Hand off to Deuce Vaughn, the All-American, and he squirts ahead for a gain of 2. Miles Harden made the tackle. Adrian Martinez, K-State's new quarterback, pressured on 45% of his dropbacks a season ago. Protection holds up for this quick pass to Cade Warner, close to the first down marker. And Martinez, he was under duress at Nebraska for 4 years, last year especially. Nebraska's offensive line had a pass blocking grade that was 126th out of 130 FBS teams according to Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, but when you look at it, it just shows you how talented this young man is. Even with all that duress, he was still ranked in the top 10 nationally among active players in 15 major categories. That's outstanding.
Sets 17 school records at Nebraska. First down completion to Malik Knowles. And K-State getting Knowles involved early.
Well, I like the game plan early, is getting, like you mentioned, getting him involved. But really, from an offensive standpoint, they're just taking what this defense is giving them. They're not trying to do too much. Some basic throws to the outside. You saw the first down throw to Warner. And now you see it out here to Knowles to pick up the first down. And that's kind of the essence of what they can do, right? This defense can never really take one thing away because it looks like they'll be poised to do a lot.
Vaughn's second tote up the middle. Finds a gap, gets close to the 30. Brought down by Brock Mogensen, the top returning tackler for South Dakota, a preseason All-American linebacker for the Coyotes at the FCS level.
Well, everybody thinks that, you look at Deuce Vaughn, he's only 5'6", maybe 177, 176 pounds. Can he run between the tackles? I think he's as tough as anybody in the country. And you saw there on the very last play, it was a handoff, and you get what you can get. I'm telling you, that young man is tough as nails.
He is seeking his 7th consecutive 100-yard game dating back to last season. Martinez keeps it on the zone read action, and he's tripped up in the backfield. Brought down by Stephen Hillis, a backup linebacker who hasn't missed a game in 3 years for this South Dakota defense.
Well, we knew this defense was going to be disciplined. We knew they were going to be hard-nosed. That's an outstanding play by Stephen Hillis. On the play action there, on the read option look there, he didn't get sucked in with the running back. He stayed at home, watched the quarterback, and made a play. And now they've got a favorable third down here.
This is a veteran, experienced South Dakota defense. Only gave up 20 points per game a season ago. Third down for the Wildcats. They slip it out in the flat. Deuce trying to turn the corner, and he's tripped up.
What a tackle.
Chopped down by Shalid Barros.
What a tackle, James. And there's not many people in the country that can do that. When Deuce Vaughn gets out in the open field, everybody kind of holds their breath. But you saw there, Barros there making a fine open field tackle, and that's what this defense has to do. They have to be fundamentally sound and get off the field on third down.
Tyler Zettner on to blast it away for K-State. The return man is Carter Bell, who signals for a fair catch at the 30 as we check back in with Tori Petrie. Hey, Tori.
Guys, Martinez and Deuce are finding their groove out there. Martinez told me that Deuce Vaughn was one of the big reasons why he chose K-State when he was transferring. He says he is lucky to be playing with that guy in his backfield, and who wouldn't be when you can hand the ball off to a guy like that? I asked him what the calling card of this offense would be this season. He said, we'll be multiple, we'll be good at a few different things, but come on, we've got 22 in the backfield. Right now, the plan is run the dang ball. James?
He's so dangerous as a runner and as a pass catcher. 49 receptions a season ago. He can do it all. First down, South Dakota. And that is juggled and dropped by Travis Tice. Second time they've thrown his way in the early action.
Yeah, that was a good read there, too, by Camp. And this defense started to play some coverage deep a little bit and giving them the underneath throws and the patience there. And Tice just couldn't hold on to it. But that's the kind of game plan. You're going to have to just be patient in this offense. This defense is awfully good. A lot of good players coming back, 7 returning starters.
Are you a little surprised by how much South Dakota's throwing the ball here right out of the gate? They didn't.
Full start. Offense, number 66, 5-yard penalty, second down.
They had about a 60-40 rush to pass ratio last year.
Yeah, they were a run-first team for sure, but it's all about playing against the percentages, right? And Coach Nielsen coming in saying, okay, everybody thinks we're going to pound, be balanced. Let's go 5 wides here on these opening series. And, James, you're seeing it. They're opening this thing wide up. And when you do that, it exposes the pressure, and it gives a clear look for the quarterback.
First penalty of the game, a false start on the right guard, Isaac Yerbis. Coach Nielsen told us that they have to play mistake-free football if they want to have a chance. Our first sack of the game. Know his name, Felix N-U-D-K Uzama, his first sack of the year, the preseason Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year.
Well, he's going up against the freshman, the redshirt freshman Ellingson, number 65, and it's just a bull rush, James. But your quarterback's got to help the youngster out. He's got to step up when he feels that pressure. But that just shows you how explosive and how dominant a player he is.
Quick throw, they check it down in the flat, reeled in by J.J. Galbraith. Well short of the marker. We got word, LD, right before kickoff, and I mean right before kickoff, that South Dakota's All-American left tackle Alex Jensen is out tonight. So it's a redshirt freshman and Caden Ellison that's going to be protecting the blind side of camp.
And that's a huge blow to the offense, because you want your best offensive lineman. I'm telling you, against this defensive front, you want to be able to have everybody ready to go. And with Uzama out there, I'm telling you what, you better be able to have a back or tight end chipped in.
And K-State blocks it, picked up, headed to the end zone, touchdown! Special Teams U does it again. Desmond Purnell.
Now they got close on the first punt of the game as well. This time they do get home. This is why special teams are such a premium, because they can tilt things so quickly. And you saw there, he could just take the ball right off his foot.
Seth Porter blocked the kick. Purnell scoops it and scores. Point after. Is through there. K-State on top, 14-0 with 8:14 to go in this first quarter.
Well, if you want to get things started in college football, special teams stepping up. Wildcats off to a red hot start.
The streak continues with that blocked punt return touchdown. K-State has now tallied a punt return score in every season since 2014, 9 years in a row. It's the longest in school history.
Well, I tell you what, if you can play defense and you can run the ball, and your special teams can kind of tilt the tide every once in a while, get this crowd going early, I'll tell you what, that's the recipe for a solid team. And, you know, we talked to Coach, and, you know, on the phone, he's like, you know what, we got a bunch of new guys. We're just ready to go hit somebody else and play. These guys just need to play, and you're seeing that excitement and that energy in this first quarter for sure.
South Dakota signals for a fair catch as we go downstairs to Torrey.
Guys, this team has had strong special teams play across a number of different years and regimes, and it is not by accident. Coach Kleiman told us that he actually spends more time with special teams than he does any other position group. They're going to use these first three non-conference games to get a lot of different guys in there, see what works, but hey, it is working so far tonight. They said the two things that they needed to do was to not make mistakes with turnovers and play good special teams. They're doing so far so good on that.
K-State on top by 2 scores. Long count. New running back in for South Dakota, Shamari Lawrence, and he is bottled up. Echo Boydo once again in on the tackle for K-State. Back to Torrey's point, LD. Is it unique that a head coach spends that much time on special teams? K-State doesn't have a special teams coordinator. A lot of it's on Coach Kleiman.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, especially with all these special teams coordinators. I just think it just puts the extra emphasis on making your team a complete team in all 3 phases.
Pass was complete to Javion Phelps. Hard hit, and a late flag is out. Kobe Savage laid the wood on the wideout.
Yeah, that might be a helmet-to-helmet type contact. And you know, with today's rules, they're trying to take that certainly out of the game. But it's so hard. These guys are moving so fast. Let's watch the end of this here. I don't think that was helmet to helmet, but he used his head as a weapon.
goes against South Dakota.
Okay.
The violations on the tight end, Austin Gearing, a hold outside on the edge.
Yeah,
so illegal hit by Savage.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you look at it and slow it down, it was a legal hit. It was very vicious, real time. Here we go here.
That's leaning in with the shoulder. That's a legal hit. Savage, a JUCO transfer. Deep drop for Camp. Steps up, slings it, sidearm delivery, and it's batted down. Intended for Carter Bell, his favorite target a season ago, the leading receiver for South Dakota. Drake Cheatham on the coverage, a transfer from Prairie View A&M that keeps the Prairie View A&M pipeline alive. Reggie Stubblefield was with K-State a season ago, a one-year transfer also from Prairie View A&M.
Holding. Offense, number 66. That penalty is declined. Third down.
Second time that Isaac Urbis has been penalized for South Dakota. K-State declines it, and it's 3rd and long.
Yeah, that was a tough throw there by Camp just on that last play. And these are the situations in a hostile environment on the road. You can't get in these 3rd and long situations. It puts so much pressure on your offensive line. I would not be surprised here if the offensive coordinator, Ted Shoffley, he calls something simple here.
K-State has held South Dakota to just 16 yards in this first quarter. Julius Brents introduces himself to a Coyote. It's 4th down. Carter Bell on the receiving end of that hit.
Yeah, this defensive back group is awfully good, and they read that all the way. And you're taught to plant that foot, and Brent's one of the top defensive backs. He's a preseason All-Big 12 candidate. Laying the wood there.
K-State already has a punt block for a score. 2 big plays for the Wildcats in this first quarter. 75-yard run by Malik Knowles, and then a punt block touchdown. This kick angling towards the chalk and out of bounds. They are kicking away from the dangerous return man of Phillip Brooks for the Wildcats. Strong start for K-State. 14-0. Wildcats on top. Later tonight on Big 12 Now on ESPN+, Murray State heads to Lubbock for a 7 p.m. Central kick with the Red Raiders. And then 2 games next week. Kansas heads to West Virginia for a 5 p.m. Central kick. And Tarleton State kicks against TCU at 7 p.m. LD, when you were at North Texas, you played in this stadium. They're fired up for this season. What was it like playing here?
And I'll tell you what, it is something to behold. You almost had to collect your breath a little bit because it was almost overwhelming. With all this purple, you almost had to take a step back and say, woo, let's go.
And fans holding their breath every time Deuce Vaughn gets a touch. Makes it look so easy, so smooth, so nimble. That's a gain of 9. K-State going up tempo. And Deuce Vaughn fighting forward. The second effort appears to have the first down.
Well, it's very often, really a lost art, that most offenses today, run the I formation. And you're going to see that with this offense. They have fullbacks. And Sammy Wheeler, obviously one of them. And you got Ben Sennett there as well. And they run power football like in the 90s, back in the old days when I played. And it's fun to watch it for sure.
Martinez wants to throw. He's 3 for 3. Completes it to the aforementioned Sammy Wheeler over the middle. His big tight end, Josiah Gaines, makes the stop after a gain of 10.
Well, that's the experience of playing 38 starts previously, Ryan. Watch him go through his progressions. He gets the snap, he looks one way, he comes to his second read, and Wheeler's actually the third option, and he checks it down too.
A flag down. K-State listed Christian Moore.
Full start. Offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. First down.
False starts on K-State's new center, Hayden Gillum. former walk-on. He's played in 20 games. But take a look at how much time Adrian Martinez has.
Yeah, and he's comfortable back there. You saw him go through his progressions. No, I didn't like that, but no, I didn't like that. Oh, by the way, here's my tight end. Let me get rid of the ball. Let's move the chains.
Keep in mind, this is a guy that was pressured on 45% of his dropbacks at Nebraska last year. How comfortable does he look in this offense? As that's another completed pass. This time it's his fullback / tight end. They'll line Ben Sinnott up all over the field.
You know, when we talked to Coach Kleiman this week, he said this offensive line has 7 or 8 guys. It's as deep as it's been. And so if I'm a quarterback and I see 22 in the back and then I see these big guys up front with experience, I'm taking a look too. And, man, he is fitting in well. And this offense, I'm telling you, it is going to be dynamic.
And off to Vaughn. Trying to squeeze his pads through. Picks up 4. Approaches the 40-yard line of South Dakota. Wrestled down by Nick Gaze.
Yeah, Deuce Vaughn, I mean, he's just one of these runners that, you know, we talk about these running backs that get better and better. The more carries they get, the longer the game goes. And he's got the ability to wear on a defense. And as soon as you get tired, I'm telling you what, he has that burst, and he will leave you in the dust if you're not careful.
3rd and 3. Playbook is open. Quarterback drawn. Martinez squirts free for a first down. Hit at his ribs by Daron McKinney.
Yeah, such an underrated part of this guy's game. He's just got that instinct, right? You know, every quarterbacks can run, but it's another thing to allow your blocks to set up, to feel comfortable, the patience and the poise. You got to be a poised runner just as well as a poised passer as well.
New running back in for Kansas State, DJ Giddens, a redshirt freshman from nearby Junction City. Fresh set of downs for the Wildcats. Rollout. Martinez, tons of time, going through his progressions, and it's dropped in the flat. A rare drop by Cade Warner, who became one of Skylar Thompson's favorite targets towards the tail end of last season.
Well, they were trying to go home run with this one. They tried to hit Phillip Brooks down this sideline area. He's covered. They tried to go backside to Malik Knowles, but he's covered. Smartly checks it down to Warner. Warner can't hold on to it, but that's okay. This quarterback is in sync in the offense, and Warner's going to catch those more times than he's going to drop it for sure. Normally
a very reliable target. Caught 14 passes a season ago. Had a career high 3 for 42 against LSU, and there's a completion to Malik Knowles. Knowles' second catch, and Martinez is now 5 for 6 through the air.
Yeah, it's just so much to defend, right? And this defense is really good. They've got 6 returning starters on defense. And this is an ultimate test for this Coyotes secondary for sure. And this defensive line has got to step up, try to get Martinez uncomfortable back there.
Big play here for the South Dakota defense, LD. K-State's 2 for 3 on 3rd down so far. Martinez scanning, surveying, trying to escape, and he's wrangled down. Michael Scott, transfer from Akron, one of the top newcomers for the Coyotes, wraps him up for a loss.
Well, he's listed as one of the edge rushers. He's replacing Jacob Matthew from a year ago that led the teams in sacks and tackle for loss. But this is what we talk about when you play these Coyotes. They just have a relentless motor. They will fight you. They will continue to play until the whistle's blown. And it was outstanding coverage in the back end, forcing the 4th down here.
4th and 10. K-State in no man's land, so they'll go for it. It would be a 51-yard field goal try. And with the play clock winding down, K-State burns a timeout to maybe think it over a little bit more. Cats lead by 2 touchdowns with 2:36 to go. K-State has outgained South Dakota in this first quarter. LD 128 to 21 yards. Everything going right for the Purple.
Yeah, it really is. And I think if you're Coach Nielsen, I think you got to feel good about your defense. I really do. I think they have shown that they are kind of making it tough at times for this Wildcats offense. And case in point on 3rd down just a moment ago, You know, the coverage was outstanding, and it was long enough to where Scott could get in there and make the play on the quarterback.
You like this move by K-State to go for it here?
You know, I'm old school, always like to punt. You got one of the better special teams, you know, for sure, the Big 12. Let your defense play. I think you have to punt and let them play.
It'd be a really short punt or a really long field goal. Offense is out there. Pressure off the edge. Martinez gets blown up. Picked up by K-State. They'll blow it dead. And South Dakota will take over. That's a big stop for the Coyote defense to inject some life into that sideline.
Yeah, that's a beautiful play call. Defensive coordinator Travis Johansson drawing up a delayed corner blitz. And Martinez didn't even see him. Miles Harden, watch him show at the end of this. It's a delayed blitz and bang, right there. That's the timing of it. It's not about the blitz itself. It's about when you call it. And they catch the Wildcats sleeping here and get the ball back in pretty good field position.
That'll get the blood pumping for Miles Harden, who got injured last year in Game 6 for South Dakota. Didn't play the rest of the season. That's his first career sack on the corner blitz. So South Dakota, this is their best starting field position at their own 42-yard line.
Yeah, I think this is the down and dish. You just got to take a shot. Let the defense know you can do it.
They fake the option. Wide open, it's behind him, and it's incomplete. Camp misfired, dropped by his tight end, Austin Gearing.
Well, the plays are there. Now as a player, you got to finish it. And I know that pass was not perfect, but Gearing's talented enough to make that play. And sometimes you just got to go the extra mile and make a play. You're on the road. Everything counts. It's a game of inches, and that's the difference of having potentially a first down. Now you've got a 2nd and 10 here.
Camp goes to the air again, and this time it's picked off. Intercepted by Sincere Mason. His first interception as a Wildcat.
Yeah, you see how it is, just like that. A player and a receiver and a tight end can't connect. Should have been an easy play, probably picked up the first down, and the very next play, you turn it over, and that's a heck of a play by Mason, too, because he reads the quarterback the entire way. Look at him playing center field here, reading the quarterback's eyes, bang, break on the ball, INT.
Camp was looking for Gearing, his tight end again, who he's really zeroed in on here in this first quarter. But South Dakota coach Bob Nielsen told us, hey, we have to play mistake-free football. They've had a punt blocked for a touchdown and now an interception.
And he talked about creating opportunities. Well, they've been able to create some minor opportunities. They just have not been able to capitalize on.
Martinez puts it in the belly of Deuce Vaughn. Vaughn slicing upfield. Smooth runner. First down for K-State's tailback. Josiah Gaines makes the stop.
He is fun to watch for sure.
That's his longest rush in this first frame. Martinez checks it down. Sinnott makes the grab. Picks up 5. Belted into the turf by Harden. Also Stephen Hillis in the neighborhood.
Yeah, when we talked to Coach Kleiman, he felt like with Martinez, you know, we talked about all the intangibles. He felt like the offense was a little bit of ahead, and that's a good thing, especially at the first time, you know, first game of the year. You know, typically the offenses really don't hit their stride maybe till the first conference opening game, but he felt like coming into this game, this offense is hitting some strides that they haven't really seen before.
2nd and 6 for the K-State offense. Play action. Martinez loads it up. Deep ball over the middle, and it's incomplete. Wanted Phillip Brooks. 3 Yotes in the neighborhood.
That's a pretty good throw. Oh, man. Almost. Had pretty good coverage back there. It had to be a perfect pass, and that's a tough haul right there for Phillip Brooks. But I like the play call, right? You stretch this defense out. Don't let them sit on things underneath. Make them think about, hey, we're going to try to take you deep a couple of times. It'll soften up things underneath.
Martinez has completed 6 passes, but just 37 yards. You got the sense that K-State was trying to set up South Dakota for that play. 3rd down and 6, and Martinez will take it himself. Slides forward to the 36-yard line for a first down. Martinez able to improvise, and K-State moves the chains.
That's a good call here by Colin Klein. Quarterback draw will work every single time. You've got Deuce Vaughn lead blocking. Yeah, the Coyotes are anticipating pass. You neutralize that pass rush with the draw.
Deuce Vaughn trying to stretch it to the sideline. One cut, and Vaughn might be gone. Touchdown! "39 yards, and K-State leads by 3 scores here in this first session. Injured Coyote on the play. Jakari Starling, who missed 5 games a season ago as starting linebacker for the Yotes.
Yeah, you hate to see that, right?
Check the right side of your screen.
He just looked like he kind of got rolled. Kind of fell awkwardly at the end of that play there, at the end of that exchange. Yeah, such a promising defensive player too, and he adds to that depth of that linebacking core.
This is a South Dakota defense that a season ago really strong against the run. Only allowed 121 rushing yards per game last year, their best mark since 2005. LD, K-State's already got 146 yards on the ground in this first quarter.
Well, we knew they could possibly, they were going to have some success running the ball. We knew that, obviously, with Deuce Vaughn, but I'll tell you what, that offensive line of the Wildcats is pretty impressive. These guys are getting their hands on these defensive linemen. And these run lanes are looking pretty open as well, and it's a concerned look there by Coach Nielsen for sure.
Starling with some help hobbles off, and Deuce Vaughn with that last run moves in to the top 10 for all-purpose yards in K-State school history. Chris Tennant on for the point after. Was perfect, 16 for 16 a season ago. And I jinxed it. He pushed it to the right.
Oh no, James.
His first miss in the purple uniform. He was a freshman last year.
I want you to take a look at the blocking. Okay, first you got Christian Duffy. He's the first guy out. Then you see Hayden Gilliam. He gets out in front. And then you've got Cooper Beebe just trying to find anybody. And by that time, Deuce Vaughn has done the damage getting in the end zone. Like I said, this offense has weapons. And they've got the biggest weapon of them all right there, number 22. And once he starts to feel it, it is going to be lights out for this offense.
Deuce Vaughn, he does it all for the Wildcats. Now over 2,100 yards on the ground. He'll get to over 1,000 receiving yards this season, you would think, and 26 career touchdowns for K-State. And his running backs coach, Brian Anderson, said during the offseason that Deuce has actually gotten faster than he was a season ago. How scary is that?
I mean, that's insane. Faster? Man, this dude can run so fast and get out of sight so quickly, man.
Alidor on the return for South Dakota. Shakes off the tackle. Alidor weaving his way through traffic. Nice return out across the 40. All right, LD, how does South Dakota regroup down by 3 scores?
I think you just got to take a deep breath and say, okay, what's done is done. Let's just make the play on the field. Let's catch the ball. Let's protect the ball. And let's block and protect our guy and our quarterback. They've had some opportunities with some open plays. They've been able to run, maybe a couple of things here and there. But just be yourselves and execute to perfection if you can. Do the small things well.
Travis Tice back in at tailback, the sophomore. He's from Pratt, Kansas. 1st and 10. 8 Kansas products on this South Dakota roster. Tice up the middle, and he has running room. Travis Tice bursting his way inside the 35, all the way down to the K-State 30-yard line. Julius Brents finally flags him down.
Now this is what we've become accustomed, what we'd expected from this offense. You're bringing back 4 of 5 starters on this offensive line, and watch these guys go to work up front. Just a nice little crease there, and Tice has the ability and the speed to exploit this defense. That's a good pickup there on first down.
29-yard gain. Tice lost it. It's a fumble. Out of bounds. It'll stay with South Dakota. Felix and Uzama there to blow it up.
Now you look at Tice there. Coach Nielsen said, pound for pound, one of the strongest players on the team. Like, wow, that's some strong words for the running back, and you can see he's built like a Mack truck and has some great quickness.
That'll take us to the end of the first quarter. It's all Kansas State after 1. Kansas State 20, South Dakota nothing. The Wildcats have wrapped up 183 yards in this first session. Back inside Bill Snyder Family Stadium alongside LaDarren McClain, I'm James Westling. It was a big play first quarter for K-State. They lead by 3 scores.
Yeah, anytime you can hit a home run, basically the first play of the game, and your special teams can come up and do something, and then your All-American can cap off the quarter with a nice run himself. That's a good start to the year for sure.
Tice the tailback. 4 receivers on the formation. They'll keep it on the ground. And Tice picks up 5 as we check in with Tori downstairs.
Guys, we talked a little bit about what South Dakota needs to do to keep pace with Kansas State in this game. A little insight from Coach Nielsen on game planning for a big game like this the first week of the season. He said you got to keep things a little bit simple. Don't get too fancy. Keep it to what the guys know. I think that's what they're going to try and do here going forward. James?
That's a good point, Tori. And I would say, LD, they've done that.
I think so, too. I would agree. Wildcats showing a little pressure here. It might be manning up on the outside. Got to get rid of this ball if you're putting it up.
3rd and 9. They play it conservative, do what they do, and keep it on the ground to Tori's point. And Uzama able to track down Travis Tice after a gain of 8. He's close to the first down marker. It's 4th and 1.
It's a heck of a run right here by Tice. He gets that little bitty seam right there, James, and that was enough to make it interesting. He's just a little bit short of the yard to make. Urvis makes a good block on the right side, and Harvick's number 71, the sophomore right tackle. That's a fantastic job.
Tice, just a sophomore. You look at what he did a season ago at nearly 700 yards on the ground as a freshman. Timeout, South Dakota. This is a huge play, 4th and 1. Coyotes have it at the K-State 21-yard line when we come back. South Dakota brings in some power for 4th down and a yard to gain. Camp. Tice. He won't get there. Kobe Savage and Austin Moore combine on the tackle. And it's a turnover on downs.
Yeah, that was almost telegraphed. That's a heck of a play up front by this defense. And you know, I'm kind of questioning, you call a timeout and you do a play like that. That just wasn't worth the timeout to me. I figure if you call timeout, you may play action past this and maybe pull it and the quarterback gets outside. But you can see all 11 purple jerseys are right there converging on the ball, and it was just no chance there for Tice.
South Dakota is without their best offensive lineman, left tackle Alex Jensen, so keep that in mind. All-American O-lineman for the Coyotes. K-State with the ball back. Vaughn up the middle, trying to squeeze through and get skinny in the hole. Picks up 3 to the 25-yard line. Mogeson tripped him up.
Yeah, there they go with that I formation once again. When you do the fullback in the backfield, you've got 2 receivers. That's going to make that defense kind of balance up. And it helps this offensive line with blocking angles. And it really doesn't tip off anything, so the defense can't cheat to one side or the other.
Christian Moore is the fullback for K-State on this formation. Play action. Martinez climbing the pocket. Escapes. Continuing to look downfield, and then he tucks it and darts out of bounds. Miles Harden there to usher him out.
Tell you what, James, if there's one bright spot for the Coyotes, it's this secondary. I think this secondary has really settled in. They're taking away now the third option.
Holding. Offense, number 50. 10-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot. Second down.
And South Dakota coach Bob Nielsen told us earlier this week that their deepest position group he felt most comfortable about the back end of their defense, that secondary.
Yeah, he said it's the best it's been in his 7 years there, and that's saying a lot, right? And his defense last year was awfully good, and those guys are back again. But, man, I'll tell you what, you can make the quarterback hold the ball. Typically, good things tend to happen for him.
Rare penalty called on Cooper Beebe, future pro, K-State's left guard. They check it down on 2nd and forever to Deuce Vaughn, picks up just a yard, tracked down by Stephen Hillis and Michael Scott. K-State, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, James, and that right there is just good team defense, right?
K-State, they don't turn it over. One of the least penalized teams in the country towards the tail end of last season.
We talked to Coach Kleiman about that. He's like, hey, we just preach that every single chance we get. Running backs take care of the ball. It's just the hallmark of what they do here at Kansas State.
3rd and long, draw play to Vaughn. Picks up 7, and K-State will punt it away as Hillis makes another tackle, leading the way for South Dakota's defense.
Yeah, there's another good defensive stand. One more time. Credit the secondary, making things difficult. And good team defense. You got a gang tackle when number 22 gets out in open space. They're getting off the field.
Outside of Deuce Vaughn's 39-yard touchdown run, he's averaging around 4 yards per carry, so South Dakota has bottled him up to a degree. Fair caught by Carter Bell at the 28-yard line. We'll see if South Dakota can get something going offensively when we come back. South Dakota, they won't quit. They were dead in the water a season ago. They had the play of the year, a 57-yard Hail Mary with just a second left against their rival South Dakota State. This got them in the FCS playoffs.
It's just incredible. And I remember sitting on my couch saying, there's no way I catch that. And when he caught it, I jumped up clearly out of my seat. And you thought I was a Coyote at that moment in time.
Jeremiah Webb was on the receiving end. It was South Dakota's returning quarterback Carson Camp that threw the pass. Bob Nielsen in his 30th year overall. He's an old school guy, rocks the tie, 29-34 in his 7th year at South Dakota. As this program headed in the right direction.
Yeah, he does. And it was such a good conversation we had with him too, to hear him talk about his team. Likes his squad a lot, but gave a lot of praise to this Kansas State Wildcats team for sure.
And that Kansas State defense. Nate Matlack makes the tackle, the sophomore defensive end, who Coach Kleiman says he's poised for a breakout year, added some muscle. They think that with all the attention that Felix Anudike Uzama will receive, that it might open things up on the other side.
You know, he got some votes, and he was up for the Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year. That's saying a lot. He got some votes for that. The upside for that young man is off the charts. And that's going to be a nice bookend as they continue to develop some players up front on defense.
There was a loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Empty set. Camp pumps. Open home, he's in trouble. Camp gets to the sideline. Camp trying to turn the corner. Tight ropes the boundary. And taps out of bounds. Close to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, this is a great job in the pocket by Camp. Didn't see it, didn't like what he saw out there. Just felt, hey, I'm an athlete. Let me turn myself upfield, get some yards, positive momentum. It's a great nifty move there, making Daniel Green miss. Daniel Green's a tackling machine.
Preseason All Big 12 linebacker. He juked in the open field. You can tell Camp is a poised kid.
Yeah.
He's a heady quarterback, a student of the game, according to his coach. Extremely smart. This time he is buried. No chance. Sacked by K-State's Brendan Mott.
Yeah, they just overran the offensive line here. Just not enough protection up front. And it was a relentless wave of purple jerseys getting to the ball. And then finally Brendan Mott gets home. Joe Clanderman, the defensive coordinator, dialing up a nice blitz at the end of that one here. Now the Wildcats getting the ball back.
That was Mott's first career sack to force this fourth down punt. Takes a friendly roll for South Dakota. They will down this around the 22-yard line. K-State leads it 20-0 over South Dakota. And you look at all the preseason accolades by individual Wildcats. K-State had the most players of anybody in the conference on the preseason All Big 12 team.
Yeah, that says a lot about this program, right? These kids coming in, buying into what obviously Coach Kleiman is saying out there, and it just keeps getting better and better. But they've got some players right there with award recognition at key spots, and that's why this team and why the fans should be very optimistic about this year.
Adrian Martinez, 7 of 9 passing, 39 yards through the air. South Dakota has covered up the deep ball. Keeps it himself. Races around the edge and has a first down run. Brought down by Gaines and McKinney.
Yeah, that's a nice play call here. You've been handing it off. Now let's show the variation of the read option. The quarterback keeps it. The defense not really anticipating Martinez to keep it, and he gashes him for a big one.
K-State going with some tempo. Between the tackles, they hand it off to Deuce Vaughn. Gets to the 44-yard line of K-State. Gain of 5, cutting the down and distance in half.
Yeah, and as an offense, that's all you want to do, right? You want to stay on schedule. You want to have some positive yards on first down. And now with this 2nd and 5, most offensive coordinators like to go play action pass and see if they can take a shot.
Kansas State has Hadley Panzer now snapping the football. They will rotate 2 centers tonight, trying to find their guy. Vaughn, left side of the line, gets close to the first down marker, picks up 3, a modest gain for the K-State running back, brought down by Brock Mogensen.
Yeah, he's just so shifty. Even in traffic, James, you just feel if he just makes one guy miss and he can get to top speed as quick as anybody in the country, he's got a chance. But every run, you're just sitting there saying, is this the one he's going to break?
He needs just 11 yards the rest of the half to get to 100 for the night. It would be a 7th straight 100-yard rushing effort. 3rd and short, 3rd and 2. Vaughn! Ripped down. 2 flags come in. Michael Scott grabbed his grill. That'll be a first down for K-State.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Wow. I told you this guy was tough. He's real tough. This is ugly.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 0, 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
K-State has an offensive lineman down, right guard Taylor Portier, who missed all of last year with an injury. K-State was really excited about him. How would you evaluate K-State's offensive line so far? As I mentioned, they've rotated a couple of different centers so far.
Well, you never really know until you see live action. You can simulate that into practice, summer workouts. But I think they've met the challenge. This is a spirited group up front right now for the Coyotes, right? And they do different things up front. They've got multiple. They go to a 4, they go to a 3-man lineup. And so right now, I think at times this Kansas State offensive line has looked really well. Pass protection, we've seen, been pretty well. Quarterback just hadn't had anywhere to throw the ball at times. But this is key here. If they could get Portier back, and it looks like he was playing well in this game, and hope this is just kind of a leg whip here. But again, they are deep at the offensive line, so they can bring some guys in, certainly.
K-State leads it 20-0 with 7.5 to go in this second quarter. Mentioned a moment ago, Deuce Vaughn needs just 11 more yards to get to the century mark. It would be a 7th straight 100-yard performance for K-State, dating back to last season.
Well, he's just so patient. And you look at that, getting behind this big offensive line, you kind of forget. He kind of hides behind these big guys, and then all of a sudden, bang, there he goes. He puts that tough, that foot in the turf, and then the vision. I think this separates him from most backs in the country, his ability to see those lanes, and then he's got that world-class speed to take it home.
Had 4 touchdowns in K-State's bowl game last season against LSU. And I think, LD, that's really where all this offseason excitement has stemmed from. How good K-State looked in their bowl game against LSU.
Well, it was fun to watch that game for sure. And they just showed you kind of the tip of the iceberg of what they possibly can do. And now with Colin Klein being first year officially the offensive coordinator, now things are set. Now you got that momentum. And I tell you what, you put 42 points on LSU, you have an all of off season to build off of that. I'm telling you what, good things happening this year for sure.
Deuce Vaughn will get a breather. DJ Giddens checks in at tailback. Coach Kleiman told us they're trying to find their backup tailback. They want to rotate a lot of different backs throughout the ball game tonight.
First down's typically the best down to throw the ball.
Giddens, stretch play. Giddens finds a crease. And the former Junction City Blue Jay looked strong on that run. Picks up a first down. Hillis, the stopper.
Yeah, you look at Giddens, he's more of the traditional big back, 6'1", 212 pounds. Watch the patience here. He's getting in behind Gillum, big number 55. And that's what they like to do. When they go to the 2 tight end set, it is power football. That's what I grew up watching. When I look at Kansas State football, 2 tight ends, and we dare you to stop our guy in the backfield.
Pistol set. Quick throw to the boundary. On target for Knowles. Knowles trying to make one man miss, and then it was a free ride to the end zone. A touchdown saving tackle made by Josiah Gaines. And K-State, with the injury to Portier, Hayden Gillum is the center, and they move Hadley Panzer to right guard.
Yeah, and they just plug them in, right? You've got guys with experience. You've got guys that, coming in, and you look at a former walk-on in Gilliam. He's been playing. He's played 20 games so far in his career.
Giddens bursting through. A downhill runner. A real change of pace to Deuce Vaughn. He's big and burly, 6'1", 212.
Yeah, and see, I think this is going to be the dynamics of this offense, because when Deuce Vaughn is in the backfield, you got to think spread offense, right? But when you put Giddens in the backfield, it is power running, play action pass, old school traditional smash mouth football. I guarantee you the fans of Manhattan certainly love that kind of style too.
First thing that Chris Kleiman said about DJ Giddens, he's in great shape. Getting comfortable with the offense. K-State knocking on the door. Martinez keeps it, and Martinez waltzes in untouched. Touchdown, K-State.
That's going to be a problem for a lot of defenses this year. I'm telling you, it looks like they're going to line up power formation. They've got it. We're going to fake the inside zone here, and the quarterback reads it perfectly, and nobody home to stop him. So many variables, so many options, and different formations that you can run with number 9 back there at quarterback.
Martinez had 13 rushing touchdowns a season ago at Nebraska. His first touchdown as a Kansas State Wildcat. Does it with his legs. K-State leads 27-0 over South Dakota.
Well, when you read the option perfectly, the defenses cannot be right. Number 9, welcome to Manhattan, Kansas, TD.
Welcome back into Bill Snyder Family Stadium, where Kansas State is pouring it on, sweeping past South Dakota 27-0. That last scoring drive, 8 plays, 78 yards, capped off by the Adrian Martinez 6-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, to me, that was probably one of their better drives of the night. I think you saw just a little bit of everything. You saw some Deuce Vaughn to get it going. You saw Giddens come in as well. And then obviously the passing and running of Adrian Martinez to cap it all off.
Touchback, South Dakota. Let's go downstairs to Toria for more on the South Dakota running back.
Guys, it's not too far of a trip for South Dakota fans to come here to Manhattan, but it is an even closer trip for fans from Pratt, Kansas. They are here to see their hometown guy, number 5, Travis Tice. Rumor has it he requested about 100 tickets for people from Pratt to come in to see this game today. It's about 188 miles from here. Guys, I'm just impressed he knows that many people in Pratt. James?
Played for Jamie Cruz. He was a Pratt Greenback. How about that mascot?
Pratt Greenback.
He was a Greenback. And he was the 2018 Kansas All-Classes Player of the Year, getting a breather on the sideline. Had a huge game last year, remember, guys, in the opener against KU. Grew up a KU fan, wanted to take it to the team that he grew up rooting for, and had almost 100 yards, 96 on the ground, and a touchdown.
Yeah, had 18 carries in that game, and I figured he'd probably get 20-plus carries in this game potentially, but it's not been the case so far.
Passes batted down at the line of scrimmage. And Carson Camp, who was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in all of FCS a season ago, has a quarterback rating of less than 60 in this one. He's 6 of 11, just 19 yards and a pick so far.
And it was pretty impressive. The only true freshman to start at quarterback at South Dakota.
Shamari Lawrence is the tailback, and he is crushed. A sea of purple jerseys. Leading the way, big 92, Eli Huggins.
And this defense starting to control this line of scrimmage. And all you look for is the push, right? There it is. These guys are putting the push, and they're getting off the blocks, and they're sitting there waiting on the ball carrier. Just know where to go.
This is year 2 of a new defensive scheme for K-State, the 3-3-5 defense. K-State last year gave up its fewest points since 2003. Scoring defense gave up just 21 points per game. And that pass had a chance to be intercepted by Austin Moore, drifting into coverage from his linebacker position. It's incomplete, and it's 3rd and 11.
Well, it's just so tough to find those little windows in this defense. You know, it looks like they're only going to rush about 3 players, maybe 4, but then they drop back in that zone, and it's so well disguised and well played out by the secondary of the Wildcats. Just know where to go with the ball.
Beg your pardon, 4th and 11 for South Dakota. Back deep is Phillip Brooks. On to punt, John Bickle, a transfer from Wheaton College, a D3 school in Illinois. Averaged 42 yards per boot last season. Brooks coming up to retrieve it, signals for a fair catch at the K-State 45-yard line. K-State will start this drive around midfield, under 5 to play before the half. This season, one of just 2 quarterbacks in the nation with over 8,000 career passing yards and 2,000 career rushing yards. LD, what's been the Adrian Martinez headline so far in the first half?
Well, I just think his command, his ability just to look like he's been in this offense for a couple of years, and these guys are out there with them, and they believe in this guy and his ability to make the right plays, and we've seen him throw it well. We've also seen him run it for a touchdown also.
Hand off here to Phillip Brooks. Late flag comes in. Brooks is ushered out of bounds. No gain. Josiah Gaines able to shove him out.
Holding offense, number 83, 10-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot. First down.
Will Swanson, the guilty party for K-State.
Yeah, those holding penalties are the big one. That puts you back 10 more yards. Now you got a 1st and 20. Let's see if Colin Klein opens up the playbook just a little bit here.
It's K-State's 3rd penalty in this first half. They had just 4 penalties in their last 3 games combined last season. Martinez on a short rollout completes it It'll be second down. Swanson makes the catch. Gain of 4.
Yeah, James, they wanted to go with Phillip Brooks dragging across the middle. Probably a tough angle. Martinez may not have felt comfortable twisting his body and throwing against the grain. Decided to throw it underneath. Got positive yards there.
The South Dakota secondary has been impressive. They have held Martinez to just 49 yards passing. He's been efficient, though, 9 of 11. Martinez will keep it this time, trying to stretch it to the boundary. Wisely darts out of bounds. Longest pass of this half for Adrian Martinez has been just 10 yards.
Yeah, and like you said, this secondary has played well. And they're doing it in a variety of different looks. They play predominantly man so far, but every once in a while they'll go to a zone look, and it's been catching them at the right time, and it's kind of making Martinez hold the ball. At times we've seen that. And here's a great opportunity here for this defense to get off the field one more time.
3rd and 9. K-State 3 for 6 on 3rd downs.
Yeah, you don't want to give him anything free. That's a bad play there by Trey Thomas.
Offside, defense in the neutral zone caused a reaction by the offensive player. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Yeah, showing you a little pressure right there. It's kind of like the nose tackle. You should never jump off sides. The ball is literally right there in your face. Now you make this 3rd down a lot more manageable for this offense.
4th South Dakota blunder. Martinez is sandwiched. Submarined by Michael Scott. South Dakota, they're excited about the addition of Michael Scott to their defense, the Akron transfer.
Telling you what, that young man has a motor that will not quit. He runs right through the block, or Carver Willis, and he gets the stop. Again, this defense making some plays, continuing to fight. We knew they were going to fight until you tell them, hey, this game is done. And right now they're showing you that.
Kansas State on to punt. Tyler Zettner to tee it up. High booming kick. That's a moonshot. K-State trying to pin him deep. And they'll down it at the 7-yard line.
That's a great kick.
Downed by Shane Porter.
Put that little backspin on it at the end too, James.
Wow. Looked like your pitching wedge.
I wish my pitching wedge looked like that. I wish I could back it up like that.
2:44 to play before the half. 27-0. K-State on top. The Wildcats have outgained South Dakota 269-55. Taking a look at the Big 12 scoreboard, Oklahoma State, they were tested on Thursday. Beat Central Michigan by 14. Kansas looked good last night against Tennessee Tech, 56-10 the final. How about TCU stomping Colorado in Boulder? Baylor has a 28-7 lead on Albany. Texas and Texas Tech both leading in their games as well. Tice on the outside, tripped up. Kobe Savage called his name several times in this first half.
Kobe Savage is what we label as a thumper. And those thumpers, all they want to do is just come up and just blow you up, bang, right there. Good open field tackle. The defenses have players at each level. You got the defensive line. We talked about the linebackers. These secondary guys not only can cover, James, but they can come up in pocket.
He's a JUCO transfer, was rated as the 5th best JUCO safety by ESPN. Had over 100 tackles last year at Tyler Junior College down in Texas. 2nd and 13 after the Savage stop. Throw in the hole complete to Carter Bell. And for Bell, that is his 2nd catch of the night. Mason able to drop it.
It's a big time throw there by Carson Camp. You said hole. That was a small hole. Watch Uzama at the end of this here. He almost gets a paw up there. Actually, it wasn't Uzama that time. It was Khalid Duke. But man, that was a pass there.
Tice is in at the Wildcat position, snapping it directly to the tailback, and he's able to dart forward for a first down. The aforementioned Khalid Duke drops him. But South Dakota moves the chains.
1st and 10, South Dakota.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, right? And the time is about to run out in this half. They do have 2 timeouts remaining. I think they want to be careful here, not mess up. and have to punt the ball back to this offense of Kansas State.
5 in the secondary for the Wildcats, so they hand it off to Shamari Lawrence. And Lawrence has a nice run for South Dakota. Brought down by Sincere Mason, but Lawrence is a redshirt freshman that got injured in the 4th game of the season last year for South Dakota. He was really good weeks 1 through 3.
That's a nice job of blocking up front. Colton Harbert, 71. He's pulling around, leading the way.
Empty set. Camp escaping. Camp losing his footing. Goes down on his own power. A loss of 2. 2nd and long.
And he did a nice job eluding that pressure initially. Brendan Mott. Boy, he has been all over the field as well.
South Dakota burns a timeout with 46 seconds left before the half. The K-State defense trying to pitch the first half shutout. With South Dakota, they've picked up a couple of first downs on this drive. They have it at their own 36-yard line. So how aggressive are you, LD, the final 47 seconds if you're South Dakota?
Well, it's all going to really depend on what they do here on 2nd down. Can they get at least half of the yardage back, meaning 5 to 6 yards? They've got 1 timeout, and then that's going to really kind of dictate what you do on 3rd down, whether you hand it off and just kind of cut your losses and go into the halftime, because you got to be thinking, you have to punt this ball back, or heaven forbid you turn it over. We know how explosive Kansas State offensively can be with a short field.
2nd down and 12 for the Coyotes. Without arguably their best offensive player, their left tackle, Alex Jensen, who was a late scratch right before kickoff. Speed option. Lawrence cut down at the 41 by Echo Boydo.
Yeah, that's a safe play call. Get out on the edge of the defense. Get up in the run in the alley. First look at the option look tonight by the Coyotes offense.
K-State wants to talk things over. They burn the timeout. There's a look at Bob Nielsen, the South Dakota coach, 2-time national champion, 3-time coach of the year. He's got South Dakota trending up, coming off a 7-5 season, but played one of the toughest schedules in all of FCS. Analytically, they have the toughest schedule this season, and they've been to the playoffs 2 times in the last 4 years.
I mean, how do you sit there and play the preseason number 1, 2, 3, and 9? I mean, come on. But I tell you what, they're not going to back down. They're going to rise up and certainly take every challenge head on. And I don't think they were really fearing anything coming into this stadium today. Now, it's a lot of talent, obviously, with Kansas State. But again, they've got some talent, they've got some ability, and their sheer will to not quit is going to help them certainly later in the season.
3rd and 6. 27 seconds left before the half. K-State bringing pressure. Quick slant caught by Phelps. His first catch as a Coyote. He redshirted a season ago. He's a redshirt freshman.
And that's probably the best throw of the game. He had to kind of throw that away from that defensive back. Man coverage on a slant. Perfect pass. Move the chains.
Tight window. 1st and 10. Camp stepping up. Surveying. And a flag comes out. He was across the line of scrimmage, it would appear.
Yeah, he got caught in that no man's land, and that little Spider-Man sense when you're the quarterback and you kind of go upfield, you got to make that decision quick. Do I run? Do I pass?
This will be the 5th penalty on South Dakota, and they're a fundamentally sound team. They don't get penalized a lot. They're known for their fundamentals and their discipline, kind of an old school football team. So this is very uncharacteristic of the Coyotes.
Yeah, and it's always those teams that you really don't expect them to make a mistake. You got to go beat them. And here's what I'm talking about, James. This is a good run here. Obviously by Shamari Lawrence.
Offense, number 18 was beyond the line of scrimmage when he threw the pass. This foul includes a 10-second runoff. The half is over.
So that'll take us to halftime. There you go. K-State leads it 27-0. K-State outgains South Dakota 269-99. And K-State coach Chris Kleiman has to be happy. Let's go downstairs to Tori.
Thanks, James. Coach, when we talked to you earlier in this week, you said special teams and winning the turnover battle were key. What are you most impressed about your team in those two areas so far?
Well, getting the early lead, having the long play with Malik, an explosive, and then getting the block punt was really big for us. I like our aggressiveness on offense. Penalties have hurt us a little bit, and it's a good football team. We got to go back and make a couple of adjustments.
What do you think those adjustments will be for you guys?
Well, we're missing too many tackles on defense for starters, and we got to sustain blocks on offense.
Thanks so much, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Back to you, James.
K-State leading 27-0 here at the half. Deuce Vaughn, 89 yards on the ground. Knowles, 75. K-State racked up 220 yards rushing in the first two quarters. K-State, they've pitched a shutout here in the first two quarters.
Whatever you do, don't drop it. 5, 4, 3, 2. What's that?
Welcome back to Manhattan, Kansas, where it's halftime between Kansas State and South Dakota. Two games next Saturday on Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus as Kansas heads to West Virginia for a 5 p.m. Central kick, and Tarleton State kicks against TCU at 7 p.m. Central. Up next, Tori has more on K-State's new offensive coordinator Colin Klein and running back Deuce Vaughn. You're watching the Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus.
Welcome back to halftime here in Manhattan, where Kansas State leads South Dakota 27-0. Today is a big day for K-State offensive coordinator Colin Klein, who is being inducted into the K-State Ring of Honor. He started off his career here at K-State as a freshman wide receiver. That was before he grew into the captain and quarterback that led this team to a Big 12 championship in 2012. He, by the way, scored 23 rushing touchdowns in that season. He took over as offensive coordinator in the bowl game last year, and we're seeing a full picture of his offense here tonight. A big part of that offense is Deuce Vaughn. He's an exciting thing for Colin Klein to be able to game plan for, having 22 there in the backfield. And let me tell you, Deuce Vaughn is just as excited for this season as Colin Klein is. Let's hear it from Deuce.
FCS National Championships in 5 seasons as a head man in North Dakota State. Here's Deuce Vaughn. Nice move. Touchdown, K-State. Little shoulder shimmy freedom, and he takes it in from 18.
It's a new year, new team. Coach Klein is stepping into the offensive coordinator role full time, and man, it's big time. The progression that we made from January up to this point is super exciting. I'm excited to get into the season with the season opener. I'm excited to get out there with my teammates, man. We've battled through so much in these past 7 months together, so to get out here and play the game that we love together is going to be something I'm looking forward to.
Looks right, throws right, has Deuce. Touchdown, Kansas State. Deuce Vaughn scores again for the Wildcats.
Pressure is a privilege. Something I read this summer, and it's something I've really embodied, really taken into account, that I have to up my game off the field, on the field, the way that I practice, the way that I study film, the way that I take care of my body, and also up to take care of those expectations. And then I love all of that pressure. To go out there and be able to say, I'll put in the work throughout the week to come out here and play the game that I love, man, it's something that I take on with a full head of steam. man, he's fit right in. You see him being selected as a captain, only being here since January. He kind of tells you exactly what kind of guy he is. Man, he's really fit and seamlessly with us, and he's something that I'll call a brother for the rest of my life. I'm excited to get out there next to him on the football field, and I know this team is as well. He's gonna be a star for us. I can't wait to get out in front of these fans. I'll tell the young guys all the time that it's going to be a surreal feeling running down that tunnel in front of 50,000 fans. They all bleed purple and they're all rooting out for you and your success. And man, it's something I look forward to. It's been a while since I've done it, and it's something that, man, this Saturday I'm going to relish the opportunity to come out here and play for these people.
James LeDaron, there is no doubt that 22 is a big reason why this fan base has such high expectations for this season. Fair or not fair?
Absolutely, LeDaron. What do you think? K-State up 27-0 at the half. Do they look the part through 2 quarters?
Well, honestly, watching the first half, in the Big 12, you got to be able to score points. Check. You got to be able to get some timely stops. And, oh, by the way, special teams, I think they've got a fighting chance, definitely for sure.
Let's take a look at the preseason Big 12 poll. K-State was preseason picked 5th in the Big 12 behind Texas, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, and Baylor.
Yeah, you see there a lot of those teams coming off of last year's success. It's going to be wide open this year. It's going to be a fun ride. I'm waiting for this thing to develop.
First half stats and highlights coming your way after this. This is Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Welcome back inside Bill Snyder Family Stadium in the Little Apple of Manhattan, Kansas, alongside LeDaron McClain. I'm James Westleen, Torrey Petrie on the sidelines. K-State leads at 27-0, and LD, it didn't take long for K-State to get on the board.
No, it didn't. And a little handoff to Malik Knowles, and he went house call to get this crowd, to get the energy going in this stadium really quickly. And then here comes the special teams, James. You got to win the game in all 3 phases, and they do exactly that with a block, scoop, and score. But then the defense could not be without Dunn. They're all everything. Yasuma on the sack there to get things going. But hey, you can't forget the All-American. He was able to dip, dodge, deuce his way to the end zone. Like we all expect, this offense was off and running, and then the captain says, hey, don't forget about me. I'm the guy that makes this offense run. Let me get mine while I can.
I like that, LD. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a tackler. K-State had 4 different guys, by the way. 4 different guys that count for touchdowns.
Yeah, and that's going to be the versatility of this offense, and it's only going to get better. And I guarantee you, if we were to talk to Coach Kleiman, he says he probably would like to see more out of the passing game, but the way they're running the ball, the way they're able to do some things, probably clean it up here in the second half.
What was more impressive, the K-State offense or defense?
Well, that's a good question. I think both when you look at it.
Second half coming up next. K-State's defense a season ago, the first year of the 3-3-5 look, gave up its fewest points since 2003, just 21 a game, and their fewest total yards per game since 2009. And this defense looks like they have the potential maybe to take that next step.
Yeah, and when you look at what they've done, you know, defensive coordinator Joe Clarendon switched from a 4-man front to a 3-man front. They actually call it a 3-3-5. We used to call it a 3-3-5 stack back in the day. And what that does, it's allow players like Uzama to have one-on-one pass rushing opportunities up front, but it also takes away the explosive plays on the back end. So now you got to be good tacklers and keep everything underneath for sure.
How progressive is the 3-3-5 defense? It's pretty new to college football, isn't it?
It's relatively new. About the time the spread offenses started to evolve, and that's kind of been the answer, right? These linebackers are a little bit smaller back when I played. They're more like safeties that play linebacker that can run, and then you've got freak of natures up front like Yazama, who can do just about everything pass rushing wise, and makes for a nice compliment on defense.
K-State will have Tyler Zentner to blast it away. Handles the kickoff duties for the Wildcats. Hails from Topeka, Kansas, the state capital, less than an hour away. He crushes this out of the back of the end zone. For an update on South Dakota, let's go downstairs to Torrey.
James, I just chatted with South Dakota head coach Nielsen, and he told me that he spoke to this team at the half and told them, you know, we had to play our best football coming in here. We knew that, and we haven't done that so far in this game. So they're trying to clean up a few errors that they made so far in the first half of this football game. One of the things he pointed out was some miscommunication on offense. They're trying to clean that up, really just get their minds right and start playing their best football in the second half. James?
Where do you think, LD, that miscommunication stems from? Do you think some of that has to do with the fact that they don't have their best offensive lineman out there?
I think 100% that. Now you've got to communicate extra to the young redshirt freshman. Now this offensive line, hopefully they can get something solved, but I think things like that, the missed plays, the missed opportunities, the catches, because you're not going to get many opportunities against Kansas State.
That was a drop by Wesley Elidor. If you're just joining us, South Dakota's without their All-American left tackle, Alex Jensen, who's 6'7", 280, a senior. Arguably South Dakota's best player.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that matchup.
He was a late scratch right before kickoff, and Camp, without blockers, he is sacked by Eli Huggins.
Well, here it is again. You got 5 blocking, 3. That should never be a problem for an offensive line. But Huggins again getting through, making an outstanding play. And again, when you've got a nose tackle in a 3-man front, he's the first guy there. You know you got something special up front.
We'll pitch it out to Lawrence on 3rd and a mile. And Lawrence takes a punishing hit on the sideline. Daniel Green and Kobe Savage lay the wood on Mike Mansoure.
Oh, man. I mean, watch the end of this. Look at Green. He just ran through the ball carrier. Oh, man, that is textbook.
There's a pretty good number 22 on the defensive side of the ball as well for K-State and linebacker Daniel Deuce Green. All Big 12 player. On the punt, South Dakota. Brooks will signal for a fair catch as we go back downstairs to Tori, who's with a special K-State guest.
James, thanks so much. I'm down here on the field with Tyler Lockett. Tyler, you're out there for that Ring of Honor ceremony. Not just you, but Colin Klein as well. What did it mean to be part of that?
I think it's just a special memory. Like, for me, I'm still trying to take it all in. I think it's just a beautiful moment to be here. My first time here ever since I graduated and left. And so it was very special. I had a lot of family here. Some of my family didn't make it, but it was truly a blessing.
All right, you said you got family here, not just in the stands, but on the field as well. Your brother Sterling is playing. What's it like watching him out here for the team you played for?
Oh, man, it's just remarkable. You know, this is his first time being able to step out here and being able to play, seeing the fans, being able to be a part of the community. I'm excited to see what he does in his career.
Tell us a little bit about what it was like watching Colin Klein be inducted into the Hall or the Ring of Honor, but also seeing him be the offensive coordinator. Did you ever imagine that when you played with him?
Oh, man, I mean, it was amazing. You know, we played with a lot of remarkable coaches, and they did a great job being able to teach us the game, understand their schemes, understanding how to attack our opponents. So, no, it's no surprise that I see Colin out here being an offensive coordinator, as well as being inducted into the Ring of Honor. He had a tremendous career in playing as a player, and now he gets to show what he can do as a coach.
Thoughts on him as an offensive coordinator? What have you thought of his offense today?
Well, I think he's been doing pretty good. I mean, when you look at the score, we're winning. So, you know, that's all that really matters. But I think he's going to get better each and every week, just like he did as a player. And so I'm excited to see what this team could do this year.
Thanks so much, Tyler. We appreciate it. Back to you, James.
How cool is that? Tyler Lockett with the Seattle Seahawks, his younger brother Sterling Lockett on this K-State team. Might see him a little bit later on, a true freshman from Leawood. And their dad, Kevin Lockett, he's the one that really set the bar back in the 90s.
I think that's pretty incredible that Tyler Lockett hadn't been here since he last played. I think that's pretty impressive.
On 3rd down, K-State's Deuce Vaughn able to snake through for a first down. Scott the tackler, and K-State moves the chains. We saw the explosive plays early on, but now K-State starting to string together some longer drives dating back to the end of that second quarter.
Yeah, and I think you want to find a rhythm. You want to find out some things that you like to do against live competition, different looks that this defense is going to throw, and things that you've been working on. Get a look at Colin Klein there up in the booth.
K-State's hung 27 on the board. He wants his quarterback to throw. Martinez has to ad-lib and scoot up the middle to get to the 46-yard line, brought down by Brock Mogensen.
Yeah, and see, that's that one extra element to the offense that they're going to have to continue to develop. And it's early in the season. And, you know, we know this secondary can play. They've shown it throughout this game. And it's just not been a throw it across the yard type game just yet for Martinez. But certainly those days are ahead of him.
2nd down and 5. Deuce Vaughn runs into traffic up the gut. And he's stacked up by a sea of Coyotes. Leading the way is Nick Gaze, the defensive tackle. And Deuce Vaughn just went over 100 yards on the ground. So the streak continues. 7 straight 100-yard games dating back to last year.
And that's the thing with this young man. He doesn't need a ton of carries. And if you can develop Giddens, you can get some other running backs. Now you're going to have him even fresher. And so when these games start to get late in the 4th quarter, you need that explosive play. You're going to have a fresh Deuce Vaughn down the stretch, and that could be a huge dividends for this team.
3rd and short. Martinez in trouble. Martinez trying to turn the corner, and he runs out of real estate. It'll be 4th down for K-State.
Yeah, I almost thought Martinez probably could have dove and maybe put the ball out right at the end. No read option, quarterback keeps it. Watch him get to the edge. I thought maybe he could put that ball out just a little bit at the end, make it close, but he's about 2 yards short.
4th and 2. K-State's offense is still out on the field at South Dakota's 45-yard line.
Well, now you got to figure out if you're Colin Klein, what has been your go-to play? They've had a tough go of passing. They've had their most success running the ball.
Martinez surveying. Martinez still looking. Martinez takes off and he has the 1st down. Martinez, he can hurt you with his legs, able to improvise and move the sticks.
Yeah, he's the X factor. And that really hurts the defense too, because you do everything right, you cover everybody, but nobody's accounting for the quarterback. And the quarterback can make you pay, as Martinez certainly goes upfield for a 1st down there.
Vaughn takes a shot. He's belted into the ground.
Yeah, that's a good pop there.
Dennis Shorter, the strong safety, comes up to blast him. It's 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, that's a good defensive play. This defense is kind of getting to the point of contact, and you know, when you play a player like Deuce Vaughn, you got to meet him before he gets going, and Shorter did that there.
Deuce got 39 of his 101 yards on one play earlier in the game. 2nd down and 10. They give it to him again. Trying to get the edge. Blocker downfield. Warner able to provide some excellent blocking on the outside, and Deuce Vaughn with a patient run takes it down to around the 10-yard line.
Tell you what, he's special. This is what you want. You got these big guys out front. Gillen is one of the best pulling centers so far I've seen. He's been fantastic. But to get these long runs, you got to have the next level blocking. Well, you've got the receivers. You got Warner downfield. You've got Phillip Brooks. And all this guy needs, number 22, is a seam. And he's going to make you hurt.
Cade Warner, he knows the game. His dad is NFL Hall of Famer Kurt Warner. As Giddens motions out of the backfield. Empty set for Martinez. Cox back, floats it, and it's incomplete off the fingertips of Giddens.
Yeah, I like the idea there. Match up your athletic running back against the middle linebacker. Mogensen there couldn't keep up, but the pass is just a little bit behind him. Watch this here. They isolate, empty the backfield. Now you've got running back against linebacker. You like that matchup. Pass just a little bit off there.
2nd down and 10. Gets the tailback. Giddens gaping hole. Touchdown. DJ Giddens' first career touchdown for K-State.
It's just a beautiful job of blocking up front, James. there's no doubt they can run the ball. This is a tough group to kind of root out defensively. This offensive line communicating, talking, and playing for one another. And they've been able to create some nice running lanes for these running backs.
Extra point is a missile. It's through. 34-0. K-State cruising here at home in their season opener. Midway through the third quarter.
We get out, fired up, hook big ones. We get out and rip it. And we track them down. So crack a Mountain Dew. Get out and do. Nachos, better with Pepsi. We get out, fired up, hook big ones. We get out and rip it. And we track them down. So crack a Mountain Dew. Get out and do.
Who can make sure your living room is always a perfect 71 degrees? That the drippy faucet in your kitchen is 100% less drippy? And that your workspace is comfortably cushy? Yep, it's the Get It Done Right the First Time experts from Kate's. Right now, get a rebate of up to $600 on qualified American Standard heating and air conditioning systems with Kate's. Because who can keep your house humming like a well-oiled machine? That's right, Kate's can.
Nachos, better with Pepsi. We get out, fired up, hook big ones. We get out and rip it. And we track them down. So crack a Mountain Dew. Get out and do. Nachos, better with Pepsi.
Whatever you do, don't drop it. 5, 4, 3, 2. One shot.
Alongside LaDarren McClain, I'm James Westling. Torrey Petrie downstairs. K-State's last drive, 11 plays, 63 yards. LD, what impressed you most about that series for K-State?
Well, look at number 50 right there in purple. He just does a great combo block. And once he turned his back parallel to the line of scrimmage or perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, that created a huge gash right there for Giddens to get in the end zone.
That drive all on the ground for K-State. This will be another touchback. No chance to return for South Dakota. Let's go downstairs for more on this K-State backfield. Here's Torrey.
Guys, we just saw that touchdown from DJ Giddens. When we talked to Coach Kleiman earlier this week, he said he wasn't sure what they had in that running back room besides Deuce Vaughn, and this game was a chance for them to figure that out. As much as you'd like to hand the ball off to 22 every single play, you can't, so this was their opportunity to figure out who would be behind him. Obviously, Giddens has played really well today, so I think he's making a name for himself in this game. James?
He has 3 carries for 39 yards. The blocking's been exceptional. 1st and 10, South Dakota. Yotes start this drive from their own 25 after the touchback. Still searching for points with just under 9 to play in the third quarter. Play fake. Phelps can't hang on. Had a defensive back barreling down on him. Heard footsteps. Couldn't hang on.
I was going to let you say it. I didn't want to say it. I mean, And you know what? This pass is pretty good. And I think if he goes back and watches the film, he's going to realize that he actually had more room to kind of secure the ball and actually make a move against that defensive back.
As a redshirt freshman, Phelps still learning. Camp comes to the boundary, and Phelps making up for the drop, able to reel it in, pulls it close to his body and gets out of bounds.
Yeah, but the skill set on Phelps is off the charts. I mean, 6'3", 190 pounds. You know, he can run like a deer, and it's all about confidence and experience for sure. And this is a great experience, especially for some of these young guys of the Coyotes.
He added 10 pounds this offseason. They're trying to set up the screen. One-handed snag by the tight end, Austin Geary, flashing the leather a bit.
Okay. That's a nice grab. No, it didn't go very far, but man, that's big time here. Like the play, drag him across the formation. Good hands.
2nd down and 7 after the completion. 5 in the secondary for K-State. Play fake. Check it down. It's complete. Back-to-back completions for quarterback Carson Camp. And making the catch is Andrew Jacobs.
I really like what Camp can do with the ball. He's got just everything you want in a quarterback. You just saw the play fake, and then he just snaps that pass out there.
3rd and 2. South Dakota 2 for 9 on 3rd down. And Geary able to hang on, absorbing a tough hit. Make it J.J. Galbraith, the backup tight end. Camp is really zeroed in on his tight ends tonight.
Yeah, and typically it's a security blanket for most quarterbacks because you base everything off what the coverage dictates from the secondary, right? And the tight end's going across the middle. That's going to be a matchup against a safety.
A couple of flags are out.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
It's Isaac Yerbis who's making his 29th career start tonight.
Now you're looking at a freshman FCS All-American. Yerbis at one time in his career now looked upon to lead this group as a junior.
Handoff up the middle. Mansoray, they throw a blanket on him after a gain of 4. Omar Daniels, a freshman corner, makes the tackle for K-State.
That's good to get some of these players in, get them some game action. Get a good shot of Austin Moore. So many playmakers on this defense. And we talked about 7 returning starters coming back for the Wildcats defense.
Second down and 11. Play fake, wide open. It's complete to another tight end, J.J. Galbraith. As they go right back to the well.
Yeah, it's a nice mix of some runs, nice variations of the read option. You've got your quarterback keeping his eyes upfield, and it's just a nice little dink and dunk to the tight ends over the middle. Now this is the first look tonight. This offense has put some consecutive plays together, sustaining a drive, getting some confidence.
Agreed. By far the best drive for South Dakota tonight as Mansoray's tripped up. Another flag is out. If it's on South Dakota, it will be their 7th penalty.
I like Mansoray. He's got a little something.
Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot. 1st down.
That's the backup left tackle, Caden Ellingson, who's been thrust into the starting lineup, replacing Alex Jensen, the All-American.
Yeah, see it right there. When you do that WWE move, it may work on TV and it's showtime, but out on the football field, you're going to get called for holding every single time.
7th penalty after the takedown, under 6 to go in the 3rd, 1st and 20. 9th play of the drive, longest of the night for South Dakota. Big hole for Lawrence. Lawrence puts his pads down and picks up 13 yards on the quick burst, brought down by Drake Cheatham.
right side of the offensive line is played well. And rightfully so. When you lose Jensen on the left, let's go to our other players on the right side. Urbis and Harberts, 66 and 71, left guard, right guard, right tackle, and they gash him there.
Lawrence trying to get the corner. Another flag is out. Lawrence is inside the 10-yard line. South Dakota, this will be their 8th penalty, and it looks like the initial call is that it will be another hold on the Coyotes. K-State's defensive front, they're alone. They're tough to handle. But this will drive South Dakota coach Bob Nielsen crazy.
Holding, offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty enforced from the previous slot, 2nd down.
And it's big 65 again, Ellingson.
Yeah, there it is, right there. I mean, right for everybody to see that. That's an easy call. And now they just can't get out of their own way. This is probably one of the better angles. There you see the hole right there, just enough to allow Lawrence to get that extra little room to the outside.
On 2nd down and 17. Camp unloads, too tall. He had 2 receivers open.
He had him.
Jack Martins was the intended target. Just airmailed the throw, and now it's 3rd and long.
He had him. He had him, James. This is what you've been waiting for. You only get these moments maybe 1 or 2 times in a ball game against a good defense, but you got to make them count when it's there. And that pass is off the mark. So anytime a defense is in that 2-deep safety look, more times than not, the middle of the field will be exposed. You just got to make a tough throw, but it's there.
Probably 4-down territory. LD, what's the goal on 3rd and long? Just to get maybe half the yardage needed for the first down?
I think you got to be thinking that. At least get it to about 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8.
South Dakota takes a timeout. We'll take it with them. K-State on top, South Dakota. Big 3rd down when we come back to Manhattan.
Welcome back to Manhattan, where K-State leads South Dakota 34-0. You know, South Dakota might be trailing right now, but a lot of good football comes from the Dakotas. Take a look at these stats. You know, I think K-State coach Kleiman would agree, because he won 4 FCS championships at North Dakota State. These teams kind of punch above their weight in the national scene. All of them are competitive nationally. Coach Nielsen told us that doesn't happen just because. He said all 4 of these schools have made a significant investment in D1 football. James?
And South Dakota State gave Iowa all they could handle today. Almost took down the Hawkeyes. North Dakota and Nebraska were tied at 7 at halftime before Nebraska pulled away in the second half. They play some good football up there. That pass is dropped. Galbraith, the intended target. And it's 4th and long.
Yeah. And those are the little things, right, James? We kind of talked about. You got to make those types of plays. You might not have gotten the first down, but you would have gotten to a point where 3rd down is a little bit more doable. Now, 4th and 17, or excuse me, 4th down, 4th and 17 is going to be very, very difficult to try to convert here.
What's the call here? Hail Mary?
I typically see teams throw a screen underneath and hope you make some guys miss.
Camp is looking deep. Running out of running room, and he has to heave it out of bounds. It's incomplete. Didn't want to throw an interception. K-State takes over on downs. Blanket coverage by the Wildcats. The shutout is still alive. Kansas State on top, 34-0 alongside LaDarren McClain. I'm James Westling, Torrey Petrie on the sidelines. And LD coming in, South Dakota told us that they run the ball about 60% of the time. This K-State defense still pitching the shutout. As you look at Deuce Vaughn's numbers, 126 yards on the ground. But let's start with Deuce Vaughn before we talk more about this K-State defense. Just what's the scouting report on Deuce Vaughn as an opponent?
Well, I think first and foremost, you got to get over the fact that he's 5'6". because this young man can do things that nobody really can do. The pogo stick quick, the great patience and vision, the great burst with change of direction. We talked about all those things in the first half. Now, obviously, the lean frame, lacks of strength to break tackles. That last one, I'm a little on because I've seen him run tough in between the tackles, but make no mistake about it, this is a complete football player, and he will succeed at the next level.
Henry Martinez sacked for a loss back at the 31-yard line. Great coverage downfield. That was Micah Roan. Great play by the South Dakota defense as the pocket collapses on Martinez.
Yeah, this is the thing that's they got to continue to work on. The pass protection. It's been really good at times, and then at other times you're like, okay, what are we doing, guys? And the bad thing about it is it's that, hey, we haven't had much success throwing the ball downfield. Secondly, now there's some things on tape for some of these other teams in the Big 12 to see, okay, what did those Coyotes do to make it really, really tough for the Wildcats passing game?
Quick throw to Warner. Complete. Gets back the lost yardage from the sack, wrapped up by Trey Thomas. That's a gain of 5, and it's 3rd and long for K-State. 3rd and 9 for the Wildcats. They're 4 for 9 on 3rd down.
Now 3rd and 9 from the 37.
K-State trying to avoid a 3 and out. Giddens the tailback. Martinez cocks back, checks it down, and Warner's going down for a loss. Brock Mogensen able to lasso him down for a loss of 2, and K-State will go 3 and out and have to punt the rock back to the Yotes.
It's just outstanding defense. These kids still playing hard. Mogensen here, he plays coverage, such a good run defender, but watch him understand, recognizing his keys. He has middle to flat responsibilities and makes the play. That's just discipline. That's playing we used to call it a 1/11th, James, and he's doing his part on defense for sure.
What is a 1/11th? Is it just in terms of the ground that you have to cover?
Well, the 1/11th means you're one of 11 players out there on defense, so you better do your one part so we all can succeed on defense.
Punt is muffed. Rugby scrum forward at the 35-yard line. No signal yet. And South Dakota will keep the football.
Recovered by South Dakota.
Hey, let it get into his pads a little bit too quick right there, James, and that's always a no-no. How he gets his football back with all those purple jerseys there, I do not know.
Carter Bell has superhuman strength, at least in his hands, to wrestle that away from Wildcats. So last time K-State was on defense, they forced a turnover on downs, and South Dakota, as I noted, their coach told us that they run it about 60% of the time. As Camp dances outside the pocket, he'll take off and they'll track him down from behind. A gain of 5, but what type of a test has this been for K-State in terms of just the style of football that South Dakota plays? Because the Big 12 is a spread league.
Yeah.
Teams don't line it up and run it right at you like South Dakota tries to do.
You know, we kind of talked about that at the beginning of the broadcast. It's like a triple option team, right? You get ready for them. You only see that during the week. It's not a typical thing. So you still have to give credit for the Wildcats to make that in-game adjustment to something that they will not be accustomed to seeing. In fact, you don't necessarily have to be in the Big 12. Most teams are going to pass all over the yard anyway.
Let's go downstairs to Tori.
Guys, I just want to point out a pretty impressive glow-up out there on the field tonight. Felix Sanudike-Uzama is a pretty beefy guy. We can see it out here. Take a look at this photo of him on his recruiting visit to K-State. He looks almost unrecognizable. The coaches said they saw him when he showed up at about 207 pounds and thought, hey, we like his skill set, but we want to see if he can beef up a little bit. Now he's listed at 255 and is a beast on this defense. James, LD, I just want to know, could you make that transformation?
That just seems like it's Photoshop, man. That is unreal. That is insane.
I was going to say, I'm trying. I drink a lot of muscle milk, but I'm not even close.
Oh, man. Hey, I'm a big believer. You get into these big-time programs, you know, the nutrition is so key, and you got to be a gym rat. We all know that, and you got all these great facilities at your disposal. Yeah, you get the end result right there in the middle of your screen.
Preseason Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. He was last year's Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year. He's an All-American. 51 seconds left in the third quarter. And also, LD, he missed this past spring. He had surgery in the spring. So he's a little bit behind maybe where he was a year ago just in terms of picking things back up in this 3-3-5 defense. But you see his skill set. You see him get after opposing quarterbacks. He's done so tonight. That's Joey Lombard, the center, who has a new position this year for South Dakota. He was their left guard a season ago. But Anyudike Uzama, would you say he looks like he's in midseason form?
I think he looks fantastic. You know, again, I'd like to see him go up against Alex Jensen. I think that's best on best. That was kind of my marquee to see there. But yeah, he looks every bit of the part. Conditioning is going to continue to get better. The feel of rushing a left tackle is going to come back. And yes, this young man's going to probably be up there as Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, at least in that conversation, no doubt.
Wide snap. Good job by Camp to reel it in. Checks it down to his tailback. Gain of 5. That's Shomari Lawrence, who's getting the bulk of the workload in the backfield here in this second half. Brought down by K-State's Jake Clifton. Another third down for the Yotes. Tonight they are 3 for 11.
Yeah, they were about 40% all of last year. Well, underneath that mark here this evening.
Lawrence trying to get there with the second effort, fighting for extra yardage. We'll mark him down a half yard shy. Clifton once again the stopper. Fourth down, South Dakota. Their offense will stay out there. They'll go for it again. Fourth quarter coming up next. Big fourth down when we come back. K-State trying to keep South Dakota out of the end zone. $21,245 it started with Bill Snyder, and Chris Kleiman's been able to carry it on, looking for that breakthrough year this season in year 4.
That's just simply remarkable.
Hand off to Tice. And Tice, a sea of purple jerseys led by Nick Allen, able to wrestle him down.
I think that's us right there, isn't it?
Glad to have you with us alongside the Darren McLean. I'm James Westling. Torrey Petrie down on the sidelines. Start of the fourth quarter, 34-0. K-State on top. And South Dakota now 0 for 3 on fourth down as K-State takes over on downs. Bill Snyder Family Stadium, and Bill Snyder engineered that incredible K-State turnaround, won a Big 12 championship in 2012. The team was honored at halftime. And now it's Chris Kleiman's turn. He's had a couple of 8-win seasons. New quarterback in for K-State, Jake Rubley. His first snap is a Wildcat. It's a handoff to Giddens, and he powers over left guard for a couple. Stephen Hillis, the tackler. But we asked Coach Kleiman about Jake Rubley because he was a 4-star recruit, redshirted last year. He's a redshirt freshman, has all the tools at 6'3", 210, and I thought Coach Kleiman got pretty excited talking about Jake Rubley.
Yeah, he did. He said he really liked that quarterback room. And we obviously know Will Howard. You know, Will Howard's in there too. He played 15 games. He's got 10 starts as well. But this young man here has got a nice arm. We know he can run. If you go back and look at his high school career and career overall, it's got some tools for sure.
Completes it out in the flat to DJ Giddens. As he whistled one towards the sideline, Daron McKinney shoved him out. 3rd down and 4 for the K-State offense.
You know, that's the thing, James. At this program over the years, you can go back as far as you want to go, but if you want to look at Bill Snyder, he's always had a quarterback, and a quarterback continues to come into this program. When you have a quarterback, you definitely have a chance for sure.
Rubley's in trouble. Broken play. He goes down for a loss of 1. A lot of those K-State quarterbacks are in attendance for this game, including El Roberson, who quarterbacked that 0-3 team that ended that long road losing streak in Lincoln against Nebraska, and then took down Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. You go back, we were talking before the broadcast, Michael Bishop, El Roberson, you played against K-State when Jonathan Beasley was the quarterback.
Absolutely.
I mean, they've always had dual threat guys.
You know, my preference, I've always been partial to Michael Bishop. I thought he was the it thing. You know, that guy was fast as anybody on the field. Probably could throw the football the length of the field. Just an incredible quarterback.
2 minutes into the 4th quarter. We head to a break after the punt. K-State leading 34-0.
Pass is incomplete. Pass intended for number 81, Jamon Monroe. On the coverage for K-State, number 4, Omar Davis. 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 for South Dakota. After the incompletion, they hand it off, and up the gut, Tice is able to plow forward for a 1st down, a gain of 11. That's one of South Dakota's better runs in the contest.
I'm telling you, they've shown signs, James. They've shown signs that this is going to be a formidable, offense. It's just been inconsistent at times. They've had some penalties that have really been drive killers. And just when they get a little bit of momentum, a penalty will set them back, or they have a drop ball. Just hadn't been able to string it all together just yet.
Running the speed option, they pitch it out to Tice. Puts his foot in the ground and ducks to the 39-yard line. We'll talk about how tough this South Dakota schedule is. Toughest FCS schedule in the country. They had 3 top 20 wins a season ago, finished 18th in FCS, and next week they play at Montana, who knocked off Washington last season in the non-conference. Do you feel like the gap over the last 5-10 years between FCS and FBS is starting to close in some ways?
I really do, because now these kids can go to these FCS programs and get noticed by NFL scouts. And sometimes you can go home, who's got a bad snap here.
Camp has to put out the fire back at the 25.
And now you don't have to leave home, James, to go to some of these other programs. You know, you can stay in South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, all these schools. And that's why it's going to eventually kind of get up there to where, some of these teams are going to shock some of these bigger programs year in and year out.
And I guess what I'm getting at is this is a really impressive outcome for K-State. I think that some outsiders might look at it and say, well, it's South Dakota, you don't know much about them. But any top 25 FCS program, they're going to be legit. They're going to be a handful. Back to pass camp. 3rd and forever. Has Stufflebeam barreling down on him. Wings it out of bounds into the K-State sideline. It's incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down, and K-State's getting the ball back.
Yeah, good defense there. Yeah, I agree with you, James. I mean, these programs are tough. I've never been having a problem apologizing for beating anybody that gets on a football field, so nobody should ever question that. This is legit. This is a good opponent that the Wildcats are playing. And I tell you what, in that Missouri Valley Football Conference, you keep an eye on these Coyotes.
4th down and 16. John Bickle gets it away. And Brooks so badly wants to return a punt. He was an All-American 2 seasons ago as a punt returner. So we head to a timeout. Welcome back into the Big 12 now on ESPN+. K-State leads it 34-0. And at halftime, K-State honored Tyler Lockett. Part of that 2012 Big 12 championship team, current Seattle Seahawk, as he's reunited with his coach, Bill Snyder.
Man, that's an awesome scene for sure. There it is. Well, I remember a lot of big plays when he wore this uniform out here in this field, but man, I can also look at all the plays he made with the Seattle Seahawks for sure.
Inside give to DJ Giddens for a gain of 3. And Tyler Lockett was a guy that did it in more ways than just catching passes. He was very impactful, to say the least, on special teams as a return man. Had some kick return touchdowns and returning punts. He was just a threat, and he did it from the moment he stepped on campus. He was one of those rare guys that played a lot under Coach Snyder as a true freshman. Rubley back to pass. Rubley slides down. Heady play by the redshirt freshman to pick up the first down.
Yeah, that's a great decision. Felt a little pressure. Didn't like what he saw downfield. Pass protection is outstanding here. This is what you see as a quarterback. Didn't like it. Pull it down. Get some positive yards.
South Dakota burns a timeout. They blow the play dead. K-State's looking at 3rd and 1. Under 10 to go. See what the Wildcats draw up when we come back.
Welcome back to the Little Apple, where K-State leads South Dakota 34-0. Tonight is actually a historic night in the Big 12 because Kat Conti is your head linesman tonight. She is the first on-field female official on a Big 12 crew. She knew one coach who believed in her and encouraged her to do the training. She coached her way up through the ranks. She was in the Mountain West last year. When she got the call, she made sure not to cry, but she soaked in just how much it means to maybe show a little girl out there what they could be one day. Even her little guy Cooper made the trip from LA with his mom to watch her do her thing tonight. James?
How cool is that?
Yeah,
from the Mountain West to the Big 12. That is fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
And this officiating crew, they've had to stay on their toes because there's been quite a few penalties tonight. High snap, broken play. Rubley puts his head down, gets the first down though, a gain of 2. That'll move the sticks.
Yeah, you're talking about the officiating crew. They don't have a preseason either. You know, they gotta come out here and kind of make it happen. You know, no practice, no warm-ups. Credit to those guys and gals as well.
That's a first down for K-State. This game has featured 11 penalties between the two. 8 for South Dakota. K-State has not been penalized in the second half. They cleaned it up at intermission. Jake Rubley is engineering this K-State offense, the redshirt freshman. Play fake, wants to chuck it. Looks over the middle, fires, and it's caught. That was a sizzler. Reeled in by a K-State tight end. Caught by Will Swanson.
Yeah, when I'm looking up here, I almost thought he waited a little bit too late to get that pass in the seam. That's a great throw on the run. You got a little naked bootleg back the other way. Rubley puts it on the money.
Rubley scanning. 2 flags are out. Checks it down to Christian Moore. That last pass went for 23 yards. It was K-State's longest completion of the night.
Anytime a quarterback kind of double clutches and holds the ball.
Holding, offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty, enforceable first down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you hold the ball long as a quarterback, you leave your offensive lineman out there to be susceptible to a hold. Here it is. They're thinking the ball is gone, and yeah, you see the hole right there.
Sam Heck, the guilty party. This is the second string K-State offense. These are the twos. 1st and 20. RJ Garcia goes in motion against a 4-man rush. Rubley with all kinds of time, and Garcia coming back, able to nab it and scamper out of bounds. That could be the K-State future. That is freshman to freshman.
That's pretty impressive. This is a long throw, but watch the discipline in the route. You got to stem him up and then come back to the ball. That is so key for young receivers to understand. Once that ball is in the air, you have to come back to it, not let it get to you.
Hand off to Giddens, another K-State freshman. Up the middle, churning and chugging and picking up a first down, brought down by Mogensen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The future, bright for Wildcat football on offense. I tell you what, getting some good experience, and that's the benefit sometimes when you jump out, you have a lead, you feel comfortable. Now you can get some of these young guys some minutes.
Under 8 to go in the fourth quarter. K-State had more players listed on their initial 2-deep than any year since 2014. They had a lot of names. Rubley gets out of bounds inside the 25. They'll mark him out at the 24.
Well, we already knew they had 40 new players to begin with. And so, when you talk to Coach Kleiman, he's like, we got to get these guys some reps. They just got to play. We got to get out there and do it.
Yeah, we asked him about it, and he kind of chuckled and said, we have a lot of names out there because we have a lot of questions about who the backups are going to be. Second down and we'll call it 8. Uh-oh, somebody gets through. Nice to Rubley, able to check it down. That's a veteran play by the K-State freshman. How impressive has this kid been?
That's a nice job. I'm telling you, kids at home, you want to play quarterback, this is part of the job. Staring the blitz right in the face, and you're about to get blasted. And he stood tall in there and threw a strike, James.
It's Christian Moore on the receiving end, who started tonight for K-State at fullback. Jax Deneen was questionable coming in. We haven't seen him tonight for Kansas State.
Yeah, this Rubley, he's got a little something. I'm always a little bit critical of quarterbacks just because I know what it takes to be successful at that position. But at the same time, man, this young kid is pretty good.
Motions Giddens out of the backfield. Backside pressure, and he's going down at the 25. Comes crashing down Michael Scott with the hit and the sack.
Yeah, he locked in on the receiver just a little bit too long. And this is a high-low read, so you got a flat option, and then you've got the corner to the end zone. They've taken it both the way. Now that internal clock has to tell you, I got to get out of there. But he'll get that. That's good experience. He'll learn that.
LD, are you hard on quarterbacks because you played quarterback and receiver at North Texas?
I will say so, my friend. Yes.
You were kind of on both ends. Missed field goal by K-State. Chris Tin couldn't get it through. We head to a timeout. Still 34-0. Nobody has scored in this fourth frame. K-State just missed a field goal from 43 yards away. South Dakota's football with just under 6 minutes to play. First and 10, South Dakota from its 25-yard line. K-State trying to keep South Dakota off the board. Nobody's gotten on the board here in the fourth quarter. Carson Camp is 15 of 29 passing for 103 yards and an interception. Shamari Lawrence following his blockers outside for a first down run. Jets straight ahead for a gain of 11.
That's another nice run there. Now this defense, these third teamers in the game, going to have a lot of pressure to preserve this shutout. And you don't think those first teamers are going to be cheering them on.
Up the gut, Lawrence to the 45-yard line. Late flag comes out. Now, LD, as a player on the sideline, if your defense is pitching a shutout, is it kind of like a no-hitter in baseball? Is it an unspoken thing that we might be able to shut these guys out?
Well, no. Because
okay.
It's just for the simple fact that you got to feed off that energy.
Holding, offense, number 56, 10-yard penalty enforced from the spot of the foul. First down.
And I know what you're thinking about. You don't want them thinking about it, too.
Right,
but you want to get them hyped. You want to go out there and just let them fly and understand the importance of what you're doing there. And if you're on the other sideline, you don't want to get goosed in. You may throw out a double reverse pass to try to get something on the board here.
Another hold. It's first and 20. Up the middle. That's Shamari Lawrence, who's getting the bulk of the carries on this drive. Picks up just 3. Trey Krause able to smother him. K-State has gone deep into their bench. Second down and 12. Play fake. And that is complete to Jake Martins. Big hitter for South Dakota. Their longest play of the night comes through the air.
Well, if there's any doubt about Carson Camp's arm, all you got to do is replay this a couple of times, because that's a fantastic throw.
First and 10. 30th attempt tonight for Carson Camp. Again, this South Dakota team, only one other team in the Missouri Valley ran it more than South Dakota a season ago. They go back to the air, and it's incomplete. Intended for J.J. Galbraith.
Yeah, Galbraith has had an inconsistent night. He's shown brilliance at times, and sometimes you're just like, hey, it's okay. He drops the easy passes from time to time.
A little over 4 minutes to play, second down and 10. Camp at quarterback, 16 of 31 now passing. They run the option, keep it on the ground with Lawrence. And K-State able to plant him at the 40-yard line. Leading the way that time for K-State was Hunter Henry, but the Big 12 getting some additions coming soon. When you look at the future of this conference with the additions of UCF and Houston and Cincinnati and BYU, third down and 7. 5, make it 6 future members ranked in the latest top 25, the preseason poll. Camp delivers a strike. That is complete for a first down to the 27-yard line. But you look at K-State and Texas receiving votes. That's just a glimpse of how deep this league could be in the near future.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. It's wide open. It's unpredictable. You know, and an offense that is based off of how many points you can score, as opposed to maybe defense is stopping one. And on offense, you're going to get that. And today's football is all about spreading the ball, spreading the defense out, and going up and down the field and making a ton of points.
That last catch made by Jordan Somerville. Omar Daniels on the coverage. Gain of 1, second down and 11. K-State trying to pitch the shutout. Handoff Lawrence. Lawrence is belted at the 25-yard line. It's drilled by a pair of Wildcats. K-State's done a really good job of flowing to the football and game tackling tonight, especially on plays up the middle.
Yeah, and we talked about the offense, because they're not going to see kind of this run style, in the Big 12. And, when they play Missouri next week, Missouri's going to have a different look at them as well. And so this is good, reps to put on tape. It gives you a week to work on some things, and it's always fun to practice after a win.
Lawrence is inside the 15, and he's able to squirt down to the 11-yard line. Tackle made by Trey Krause. Shamari Lawrence has provided a lift off the bench. He's up to 78 yards rushing tonight for South Dakota, most of it on this series. First and 10, South Dakota knocking on the door. Lawrence down to the 7-yard line. Clifton the stopper for the Wildcats as we roll under 2 minutes to go here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium.
Well, you're talking about a morale booster for the Coyotes. They somehow can get this in the end zone.
Lawrence on a stretch play, makes one man miss. He's to the 5-yard line, inching closer. Third down, and it'll be 2 to gain. They can still get a first down here. They don't have to score. It's 3rd and 2 from the, make it 3rd and 4 from the 5-yard line. They marked him down back at the 5. Big play here. Camp wants to spin it. Back corner. Incomplete. Looking for Jack Martins, who had the big pass play on this drive.
And that play looked promising. initially. And look at Martin's here. He's right there. That's a tough throw for a quarterback because you see that defensive back Daniels right there. You just don't know if he's going to turn around and look. So you have to throw it to a spot and hope your guy can get it.
4th down. K-State hasn't pitched a shutout since 2019 against Bowling Green. Just over a minute to go. This could be it. South Dakota trying to get on the board. Mansoray between the tackles, and he is tackled shy of the first down marker. Hit at the point of attack by Cortez Crook Jones, and K-State stands tall. 58 seconds left. We'll see the victory formation coming up next. K-State leads at 34-0, and the party's already started for a lot of these K-State fans. Tori, what are they having?
James, it turns out offensive line coach Connor Riley doesn't just brew up a good offensive line. He brews up a good beer. He's got this collaboration with Manhattan Brewing Company. It's called Condor the Magnificent, and only comes in these bigger sizes, so you got to bring your offensive line-sized appetite. Might see a few of these in Aggieville after the game.
I am in.
Yeah, buddy.
K-State drops to a knee. That's going to do it for the most part. We're under 50 seconds left. LD, what impressed you most when it comes to K-State and their effort tonight?
Well, it's the first game of the year. You just don't know what to expect from time to time, but the fact that they stuck to the game plan, they have the talent, obviously, and the defense, I thought, looked impressive, and at times the way the K-State offense could run the ball, man, I'm telling you what, they get that passing game going with it, too. This is going to be a force to reckon with.
K-State racked up 298 yards on the ground. They completed 15 of 19 yards passing for 96 yards. And the defense pitches a shutout. First K-State shutout since 2019 when they blanked Bowling Green. 34-0. The Wildcats win it. And next up for K-State, Missouri, 1 week from today.
And it's all Big 12 rivals right there. Missouri coming. And that's going to be a different ball game for sure, an SEC opponent. And if you look at South Dakota, they're going to play Montana next week. So, hey, it's going to even get better. College football's here.
For LaDarren McClain and Tori Petrie, I'm James Westling saying so long from Manhattan, Kansas, where the final score is Kansas State 34, South Dakota 0. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app.